Hello, my name is Philip Totaro. I'm the founder and CEO of market research firm IntelStor. Welcome to your weekly dose of truth to power. Truth to Power examines data driven insights for the energy sector with a focus on renewables. On this week's episode, we're looking at the generation and efficiency of the global onshore wind energy market from the IntelStor Future of Renewables report. Onshore wind energy has grown from a little over 30 terawatt hours globally in the year 2000 to more than 2.3 petawatt hours by 2025. This highly accelerated growth trajectory was not only due to the capacity additions in China, but an overall improvement in average capacity factor, which will reveal itself in the analysis of full load hours as well. The wind energy sector did grow away from Europe and towards the Asia Pacific region, of course, in the overall percentage of the contribution to generation. Europe began the year 2000 with a 72% contribution to generation, with the Americas at just under 20%. By the end of 2025, Asia Pacific has 53% of the contribution to global generation for onshore wind energy, with the Americas at 24%, Europe at 23%, and Africa and the Middle East region still around 1%. China's influence will continue to drive generation the way of the Asia Pacific region, but the capacity additions in the Americas and Europe tend to be wind turbines with a higher overall efficiency, so Asia's capacity additions will be offset in the generation curve by that fact. Full load hours for onshore wind energy have grown over time as efficiency has improved. All global regions have seen an improvement over time, with the Americas indicating the highest efficiency, Europe second, Africa and the Middle East third, and the Asia Pacific region last. While this may be surprising that the Asia Pacific region would be lower, the rationale is that the average availability of their turbines has been well below that of the rest of the world. Some of the reasons for it include the fact that wind turbine OEMs in China in particular haven't historically always been allowed to maintain their own equipment. So the independent service providers in China who competitively tender to be able to take over the maintenance responsibilities for assets aren't necessarily well versed and the most experienced people that could possibly be maintaining and operating those turbines. Capacity factor analysis for onshore wind energy indicates that the Americas region shows the highest average at over 32%. While this is not explicitly normalized for the quality of wind resources in each country or region, the analysis still indicates the extent to which the turbine efficiency and maintenance practices that are employed have resulted in high availability, which can contribute to the overall performance. The Asia Pacific region has the worst performance due to the challenges faced by Chinese wind turbine OEMs with the maintenance of their equipment. For Western wind turbine OEMs, turbine sales are typically accompanied by a warranty and long-term maintenance contract under which the companies commit to a high availability for the wind turbines. This means they must optimize their maintenance practices to get the most out of their turbines. And as I just mentioned, in China historically, maintenance was performed by either the asset owner or a third-party company that was based on a competitive tender. The unfortunate consequence of not engaging directly the original equipment manufacturer in the maintenance is that third parties or asset owners are not as familiar with the maintenance practices. That had an overall detrimental effect to operational efficiency, and it's reflected in the capacity factor analysis. That subsequently had adverse impacts on the perception in the Western finance world of the quality of the technology that one could get in China. Yeah, you could get a cheap turbine, but it's not going to perform very well. That's changing more recently as more OEMs in China are getting more involved in the maintenance practices and improving the overall quality and efficiency and availability of the wind turbines. Over time, the efficiency across all global regions has increased due to improving efficiency of new wind turbine models that have been introduced in the past 25 years. Increases in the Americas from approximately 26% to 32% is indicative of this trend, and also of the fact that more efficient wind turbines were necessary to access lower average wind speed sites, which were in relative close proximity to existing grid capacity. For those of you that are familiar with the industry, when you start off in a brand new market, you take whatever sites you can get available with the best available wind resources. So you're going to build out the highest wind speed sites that are in close physical proximity to transmission infrastructure. Over time, you're going to need to move further and further away from transmission infrastructure, building longer and longer interconnections, and potentially seeking out project sites that necessarily have less available wind resource that are in close proximity to transmission as the only available project sites you're going to be able to get. So as time goes on, efficiency needs to improve as capacity additions that are in close proximity to transmission infrastructure are limited. Similarly, in Europe, the average capacity factor increased from just over 17% to more than 23% in the past 25 years. Since the advent of the modern industry in China, the average capacity factor in the Asia Pacific region is up from approximately 13 to 15% to just over 20% by 2025. In Africa and the Middle East, the average capacity factor has remained relatively stable over time between 22 and 26%. This is due to fairly modern equipment being installed there consistently through the years, thanks to a substantial amount of public funding support to offset some of the increased costs of project development in the region. Nevertheless, the average capacity factor of onshore wind energy when compared to other forms of renewable energy is still relatively poor. For each 5% increment that average capacity factor can be increased via efficiency improvements in the wind turbine technology, it would result in about a 2% reduction in the average cost of energy. This reduction could prove quite important as onshore wind energy continues to see a challenge from conventional power generation technologies such as coal, oil, and natural gas. Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Philip Totaro, and this has been your weekly dose of truth to power. We'll have more to come from this IntelStor exclusive report, The Future of Renewables, next time on Truth to Power, including a look at the feed-in tariffs, public finance, and capital efficiency of onshore wind energy. In the meantime, you can follow us on IntelStor's YouTube channel as well as your favorite audio platforms. And visit www.intelstor.com to join more than 300,000 subscribers to our renewable energy data solutions. We're adding subscribers faster than ever, so don't miss out. Register today. A full analysis of the global renewable energy market is available to online subscribers of this new exclusive IntelStor report, The Future of Renewables. And tickets are on sale now for the next Wind Summit event in Houston, Texas, on the 3rd and 4th of November, 2026. Visit www.windsummit.org and join hundreds of your industry colleagues to discuss all the latest trends in O&M. We've got speakers and panelists lined up from companies like NextEra, EDPR, EDF, Pattern Energy, ExxonMobil, WEG, and more. So don't miss out. Register today. We hope to see you there.